Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at, we'll just look at Bitcoin, because it would appear that Bitcoin is going to carry the market today, whichever way it wants to go. So for the moment it's going up, and I actually think from what I can see here, and I know that I always say you shouldn't trade signals that haven't yet been created, but there is about to be a 4-hourly signal kick in, just with the itchy cloud here, lending itself to a test of definitely, I would say, 36,000, yeah, and potentially we could transfer that over to the daily, to the main area of resistance, which are going to be these two zones here. So we're talking between 38 and we'll give or take about $40,000, and that very much depends on where this Chiku span closes on the 4-hourly. And at the moment, we're almost certainly going to get this, but again, we don't trade it when we do get it. We've got to wait for this Chiku span here. You can barely see it. It's in this price action now. It needs to close above this cloud, and that will lend itself to a continuation move, but not a trend reversal or anything like that. No, just a stab up. Now if we have a look at the MACD, yeah, we're turning up. That's okay. There's nothing to be concerned about on any of these oscillators. They're all very nice to see, although they're not massively bullish. So my expectation is very much the same as it's always going to be, which is that we're playing this range. This is the range. We're playing the range, and most of the range is going to be played within the inside range here between 41,000 and 33,000, which is where we were basically in these last couple of days, where we've been hanging around to. 33,000 corresponds mostly, and this is why it's so important, to the 50 exponential moving average on the weekly here. Something that we don't have much price action for in this Binance chart, but if we were to, and we've seen it. If you watch my channel, you've seen it. It goes back in time. It's very strong support, and if it does break down, then it and we close weekly candles below there. It does sound very much a bit more like a bear market. So if that starts to happen, then yeah, continuation down, probably to the low 20s and then maybe beyond. But again, we've not got there yet. Every week we get saved at the last minute, so we've not got to that stage yet, so we shouldn't really entertain that particularly. Daily doesn't look too bad either, but again, within the context of being bearish, it doesn't look too bad, if that makes sense. So we do have the death cross, we do have conversion baseline cross, so both of these are signals to suggest further downside. The main area that we need to reclaim on the daily is going to be this 35,000, which is basically the centre of this Bollinger Band. Breaking above there will offer us the opportunity to come up to the top side of this range, or at least these two moving averages that we marked out earlier. But just because, and just if we do break above here today, and we see a wick start to go above here today, I wouldn't get too massively excited about that. What we need to see is candle body closures above there, and then we would like to get more excited. So we saw these, didn't we? We've seen these in the past. Candle bodies getting sold back into, and then the next day coming back down to the lower side of this inside range. And at the moment, we're still not massively bullish. A closure above here on a daily that's where I'm going for, and so this move I'm not talking is going to likely happen today. We could see a decent portion of it happen today, and then the latter area fill up to these zones. Now when we get up to these zones, what do I expect to happen? Well, long story short, we can't deny the fact that we've got two signals here for further continuation down, so any room up here is likely to attract short positions from people that are trading signals. So most traders trade upon what they see and not what they believe, and what we see is further downside implied. So it would just be an opportunity to, it's like the opposite of buying the dip, isn't it, really? Not buy the dip, but short the resistance, which is essentially what it is. And I would imagine it would attract a lot of shorts up here, because the general direction is sideways and down for the moment. Now there will be a point where it does bottom out. And how long have we been going on for this? I was expecting about 3 months or so. So far we're about halfway through this sideways trend. Even if it goes down and reaccumulates at the lower levels of around 24,000, we could potentially bottom out around this zone here, and still manage to sort of pull our socks up around, well, we'll call it August to September, during these 2 months, and by October we should be on our way up again. in my expectation of that anyway. But until any of that has happened, we're just going to have to play this range for what it's worth playing, and it's not really worth playing that much. It's a very obvious range to me anyway. I mean, I see it it's pretty clear what it's doing, but a lot of the sideways action within this inside zone, I think, might have already been played, and if we do get a pump up to these levels, it would be an opportunity to short to potentially, well, almost certainly, I would imagine, back down to 29, and then maybe break down eventually over to 20 to 23. Now, I am talking about weeks worth of price action here. I'm not talking about what's going to happen today, because I know what you guys are like. You watch my videos and go, well, I watched this video, and by the end of the video, I looked at the price, and it was going up. Or it was exactly the same as it was when I watched the video. It hadn't gone down to $23,000. I couldn't believe it, so I disliked the video. Well, yeah, so just to put it into context, I am talking reading things on a daily and basically a weekly chart. The smallest thing I've looked at would be the 4-hourly chart, which still is building up a signal which hasn't yet been created. And if it is created, it would take a couple of days, maybe at best, for that to play out for the upside. So coming up to test that 200 exponential, or maybe here in a couple of days, over a few more weeks, trickle back down and maybe down to these levels. So let's just put things into context. I'm not talking about you watching this video, going to the toilet, coming back and not seeing what I've said play out in front of your very eyes. That's not what I mean. So that's pretty much all there is to say about Bitcoin. Long story short, in a summary, I would expect over the next 28 to 48 hours a move up to potentially 40 to 41,000 at best, and then from there being essentially the local sort of top where it gets shorted and sold off into, coming back down to definitely the 33,000 and then maybe 28, and could even break from there and go down to about 24, 23, 24 over a period of weeks. So again, let's just chill out, calm down, and if it doesn't do that, that's no problem, but that's the most likely situation. So let's put it out there. So it's the most likely situation in my opinion. Doesn't mean it's gonna have to happen, but it's the most likely situation. Anyway, normally I'd do a live stream tonight, but England are playing, so I can't really. It's quarterfinals, and I just can't do the live stream. Then I'm going on holiday, so I will still be able to make some videos while I'm away, but the live streams will only take place every Thursday. So just for a 2-week period, there's going to be 1 live stream a week instead of 2, and I'm going to be doing them on Thursday nights from 7 till 9. And other than that, I hope you all have a nice weekend. Take it easy.